Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we are here to look at a new release by Patrick Tarte. This is the Patrick Tarte Major Dimension Eyeshadow Palette, and he's also released with it some precision gel liners. So we're going to talk about them today, explore them, do a little bit of a demo to recreate the look that you are getting a preview of right now. And I'm also going to tell you what I think about them. So let's talk about it a little bit. They just came out today here in the United States. This eyeshadow palette is $68. Let me open it up for you to show you that we have 10 mattes, velvet mattes, they're called, iridescent duochrome and triochrome shades, and some glistening pearls, along with 2 cream bases. We're going to talk about that. I just want to show you what it all looks like in the pan so you can kind of see. Check out these cream bases. So this is kind of unique, interesting, and fun, and very Patrick Tarte. He does, as you know, these beautiful powders, but we have seen from Patrick Tarte his sensational cream and powder blushes, and his most recent cream and powder contour and bronzer palette. So he has done the same thing here. Over the creams, he puts a little flap so that we don't get our creams mixed in with our powders, or more likely our powders would get into our creams. So we have that little flap, and what these two are is actually, as it says, a cream base. They're a little bit darker, but in their darkness on the lid, they we're used to kind of doing a lighter base on the lid, but these are kind of fun because once you set them with a powder, though I didn't find that I did not find that they creased or anything like that. They're actually lovely, creamy bases, and they're not slippery. They're kind of creamy but grippy, if that makes sense. And then the powders go over the top and kind of set them. So you're almost priming your eye with the right shade to make these shades stand out, no matter your original God-given, I should say, or nature-given skin tone, okay? So these will work with anybody's skin tone, which is really nice. And then they work as a base to make all of these shades adhere and also pop out. Very, very cool idea, and does make this palette unique. So what I want to do is we're going to go to some swatches actually, but first let's talk about the precision gel liners. So these are $26 each, and they are just like his lip liners. If you own Patrick Tarte lip liners, they are kind of self-sharpening and wind up, so you can just kind of see how they look. I have used them already, so the point is slightly dulled, but that's what it looks like when you roll it up. You know, and it depends how you feel about that. They do roll back down, thankfully. So if you roll it up a little too far, you're not going to lose any product. A lot of people like this because it becomes kind of self-sharpening. As you wind it up, it sharpens. Of course, the detractors, sometimes I am one of those detractors, would say, oh, when you're not sharpening it, you don't see it go down, and when you run out of product, it can surprise you. That is true. These gel liners come in matte, metallic, and in satin. I think the satin shade is the Onyx Dark Black. I picked up the soft cream shade, which is a matte, and the deep bronze, which has a slight metallic sheen, but nothing too uncomfortable to put on the inner rim, because I did tightline with it and had no problem, which you'll see. And the soft cream, of course, if you use it in the lower waterline, is intended to make the eyes appear brighter, bigger, and to make you appear more awake. And I always need to appear more awake. I know you guys are saying, what, Rebecca? You have so much energy. That's just caffeine, my friends. The rest of it is not there. You know what I'm talking about if you are a busy working parent. Because I don't know what you're right. Okay, so let's go to an arm swatch. What I have in the arm swatch here, take a look-see. On the left are the 2 cream bases. So take a look there. Then on the right of that, we have all 10 of the velvet mattes, the iridescents, and the glistening pearl shades. And then to the very, very right, with little squiggly lines, are the gel liners. I stop in the video to move my bracelet, as you'll see, so that you can try to see the cream shade that's all the way right towards at the end of my wrist. And I don't know if that's going to show up on camera, but that is why I moved my bracelets, to try to show that to you a little bit better. Those really have a staying power, by the way, just to show you now. That's me from the swatches. I did not and could not adequately remove, especially that deep bronze metallic liner. It's still on there. Now, it is true that the way a swatched liner stays on the skin of our arm is indeed different from how it would sit in a waterline. I do, or if you tight line with it on the lid, I do admit that, but it's certainly not a bad indicator of its staying power. Right? Okay, so we have $68, $26 each. Let's take a look at this, I think, fairly innovative palette for an all-neutral palette. I'm going to come back with completely clean eyes because we're going to do a whole eye look here and recreate this. The bronzed look on the rest of my face is courtesy of all Patrick Ta products, which will all be listed below with links for you to check them out. So let's do this look right now. Stay right there. Okay, I'm really excited to see how these perform, and this is absolutely a first impression. So I just brought a little box of brushes over here, and we're going to try both the eyeshadows, of course, and the liners. Remember, we have this little thing here, so we're going to apply one of these bases first. And I'm going to use just kind of a flat brush to do it. I'm going to choose the lighter of the two, and let's just see how this goes. I'm going to put it on the lid. It goes on very, very creamy and nice. Many of you will say, but will it crease? Well, I'm sure it would, but we're not going to just leave this, right? We're going to put powder over it. In a sense, we're going to set it. Not in a sense, in every sense. So I have gone with this lighter of the two base shades, which is still a very, if you look at it on my eyes, actually neutral shade. And, probably would be kind of a one and done shadow of its own, but it is kind of a cream base, and this will make all of our other colors stand out. So let's go ahead and close that flap and get this hair behind my ears here. And I'm going to take a rougher number 1, and I'm just going to go in with this fairly matte shade stuck right up here. It's kind of interesting. There's a matte shade stuck right in here with all the kind of pretty glitters, and then there's a glittery shade here at the bottom stuck in with all the mattes. I don't understand it. Okay, so let's just put this into, just had to mention that, the crease. I'm just going to use quick circles and do it that way. I have not covered all of the cream base yet, but trust me, we'll get there. Okay, just putting that into the crease again. These are just these kind of very, I'm kind of used to them now, very common Patrick Ta neutrals. He's kind of the king of neutrals. He really kind of is. Let's go, sorry as I tap the table here, because I don't decide before I do it. Let's take one of these darker shades down here at the bottom, just so we kind of know. And I'm using a rougher number 2, which is just this kind of flat brush. Let's just stick that in the corner. It goes beautifully over the cream base. There's no hesitation. There's no sticking. I had to remember which one I used. I do that all the time, you guys. I go back in and I go, uh-oh, I was talking. Which one did I reach for? So look at this neutral eye look, but very pretty. All right, let's spice it up. You know me, I want to keep it simple, but let's spice it up with just, let's put this one just onto the lids. Oh gosh, that's very, very foiled and very, very pretty. Let's do it again. Other side. I also want to put one of these other glistening shades into the corner, the inner corner of the eye. Look at that. Gosh, that's awfully, awfully pretty. Okay, let me go right here into this very kind of pale. I'm looking for the names of the shades because I'm sure they're there. And if they are, I will certainly put them. I'm sure they are. I will put them in editing because I do know that for many of you that is quite helpful to know the shade names. So I will make sure I glance at those. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. All right, let's try, before I go off camera and put on some mascara, let's try Let's try this. I'm really interested in this gel liner in the cream that I picked up, the soft cream matte, because I really am hoping that it's going to make the eye look bigger when put into the waterline. And it's such a good color too. I hate when they go too white. What do you guys think? So here it is without. Now I'm sorry, listen to me. Here it is with and here it is without. Do my eyes look bigger and brighter and more awake? I don't know if it's possible, guys, to make me look more awake today. I'm kind of sleepy. But I will take all the help that I can get. I like that. Whenever I do a very light color on the inner waterline, it always takes me a moment. Because you know when you first put it on, you really see it. But once you get the whole eye look together, trust in the process, it will blend away and should just make my eyes look a little bit bigger. And here is the other one that I got, which is a slightly more metallic. So I got the deep bronze metallic. Let's go in here. This is all ready to go and sharpened. It's metallic, but it won't hurt the waterline. It doesn't have glitter chunks. I don't generally put a liner onto my actual lid because I don't have a ton of lid space. I think this certainly would be a pretty one. Let's just do a little bit of it. And the reason I can kind of get away with it is because it is so nicely sharpened, because it sharpens on its own as it comes up. So that is actually really, really pretty, and it's not too metallic. This shade that I used on the lids, I am looking at here, this shade here, that thing has so many different colors. I'm looking at it in the mirror here, and it is going pink and red. It's really, really, really pretty. And kind of feels Pat McGrath-y, as I just did her new Luxe Quad yesterday, and it has the feel of that. I'm not saying they're the same, I know, but it has that kind of a feel. Very pretty. Let me put on some mascara and then let's chat. Okay, wow, I am feeling very, very bronzed because I use She's So LA and the bronzing and contour palette and this beautiful neutral nude palette with these lovely little pops of sparkle. Look, you're not gonna get me to say anything bad about a neutral palette. First of all, I do believe that Patrick Ta is really quickly becoming the king of neutrals with all his collections and the lips, his blushes. He just does neutral in this really sculpted, gorgeous way that really only Patrick Ta can do. But I also think his powders are sensational. So when you combine a powder and a neutral, he's going to shine. I get it. I hear what people are saying, and then a neutral palette. Well, here's my issue with that, PRINTcesses, okay? When a brand goes out there and makes a crazy palette, such as Natasha Denona's Circa Loco, then we're like, well, what are we supposed to do with that? I mean, I'm not going to wear those colors. I'm not going to wear like turquoise every day. Some people do, kudos. But a lot of people then complain. But then we have a beautiful, really well edited neutral palette. And what does everybody say? Another neutral palette. We don't need another one of those. Okay, look, there's only so many colors in the rainbow. What does your average person who wears makeup wear on the everyday average person? And you don't have to be average, PRINTcesses, and I know most of you are not, but those of you who are just kind of your average everyday person who just wants to look a little nicer and get out to the at the door, we use neutrals. So to me, there is always room for a beautiful neutral palette. These powders perform as I would expect Patrick Ta powders to perform. I love that he got his little signature open and close flap. I love the use of the base. That's going to help this stay longer, and it applied beautifully. It didn't crease. Of course, I put powder over the top of it, but it's still not creasing, and I have taken a little break of about an hour and a half before I have finished filming this portion, and it would have creased by now. You know how creasy creams are. They get you pretty quick. The shimmer shades are wearable and beautiful. I did not have any fallout. I was comparing some of these shimmers to Pat McGrath because that new quad of hers is the one I kind of just played with quite recently. So that is why I did. But it actually, that one, though I forgive it, has a lot more fallout than these shades did. I was super careful with them, but they are really kind of pretty without being wild. Patrick Ta has this style of just this kind of glamorous, sophisticated but neutral look. And I think this is perfectly Patrick Ta, and an absolutely lovely palette. I will let you know what I end up thinking. I have, speaking of Pat McGrath, her eyeliners tend to be my favorite, and I do like an eyeliner generally that I can sharpen so it gets lower and I can see when it's going to be leaving me. But these look perfectly adequate and beautiful. I do think the star of the show here, however, is going to be this palette, just because he's so good at powders and so good at neutrals. Do let me know if you're going to pick it up, as it's brand new in the United States to Sephora, and I think it's coming to Cult Beauty as well. So do let me know your thoughts, and if you're going to pick this up, I will link it below for your shopping pleasure. Leave a comment. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I hope you did. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel so we can have more fun together, and lots of more new releases coming in the next few days. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.